Welcome everybody to Tuesday Night. I am your host, MCToon. Oh, my mic's a little hot. There we go. Turn it down. Hey, how are you doing? This was teased last week, and the downloads that I got were I had no audio. And how can you listen to an idiot when the audio isn't working? So I verified it. In fact, I think the reason why the audio was not there was because he uses music in his videos as an overlay, and it's kind of loud. Like, learn a little bit of balance. But I think TikTok, depending on how you download it, will remove all of the audio if it's got copyrighted music or in it. So, but there's other ways you can download it that doesn't. And so anyway, I verified that, and then I processed it in Final Cut and removed as much of the music as I can. So it shouldn't be a problem. So anyway, in case you're wondering, Keith Cameron Smith is the name of the guy. I got some other TikTok flurfs also queued up. Angels of Shite. Nathan Thompson playing a video from, what's his name? The guy with the plastic dome that doesn't work even remotely. That one. Yeah, anyway, some others. We'll be reviewing them, but later tonight. Later we have in 3 hours time, Creaky Blinder and Flat Earth Recon Sam from Israel, and maybe, I don't know, Mikey Smith. We'll see if he can be there. So I'm a little it's a raid. Is there a raid? Joe Hanvey is his name. All right, you know what? I have a little, this morning I woke up and my nose was running a ton. I don't know if it's allergies. I have never had allergy problems, but I got me this little drain the sinuses stuff. So I'm going to talk about Oakley showing up on Worldwide Debate tonight. So Oakley, a lot of it was recorded. So I think what I'll do, if maybe work with IC Spin, who got a bunch of it too, chop it up into 2-hour chunks and just upload them so people can watch. Oakley is such a disgusting, horrible person. I think what happened is his wife probably left him, and he's like, all right, well, I'll just do a long live stream yelling at people and looking for gay sex. Basically, that's what he did. He was begging other men to suck him. That's it. That's what he did, on and off, for 6 hours, 8 hours. So if you like listening to a guy whose audience pretends like that's the kind of thing they don't like, then that might be the kind of thing that you can watch. Anyway, oh yes, my ugly identical cousin McFlatty was present in that room. People are like, how'd you get back? I don't know if he's back or not, but the rumor is that he had to ride a donkey across the Alps. It's not the Alps. Coming from the southern tip of South America, it's not the Alps, but that's what he calls it. Just let it go. Let it go. So let me start by showing you a couple things here quick. That's not it. Let's get here. What do you want? There it is. Okay, so this was here before. This is the program I use to manage all this stuff. It had this sitting there before. So anyway, here is the Earth from space. Here is a series of photographs of the Earth from space where you can see the satellites. Here is the DM I sent him. So this is Keith Cameron Smith. This guy is a turbo coward, super coward. He definitely blocks anybody that challenges him. People in the comments have already been saying, I asked him why I can't see Polaris from the southern hemisphere, and he blocked me. That's what this guy does. I don't think there's a bigger coward on the globe than Keith Cameron Smith. And so on my Facebook post today, I wrote, a coward dies 1,000 deaths. A hero dies but once. As sung by the Bard. And the bard, for me, my bard is not Shakespeare. It's Jimmy P. Brown II. All right, so I am, I got some others, but I'm going to start with, I'll start with one by Keith that is just, you know what? No, I'm going to start with Angels of Shite talking to what he thinks is a surveyor. Now, he does not ask the guy if he's a surveyor. Pay very close attention. He does not ask the guy if he's a surveyor. So I don't know if he's a surveyor. It would not be fair to assume he's a surveyor. He could just be the guy lugging stuff around. He's certainly not an old grizzled guy that's been on the field for several decades. So if he is a surveyor, he's not been doing it for long, and so probably actually doesn't have any depth in the knowledge, right? Which, in order to do proper surveying, it takes a while to build up to it. You don't just go out there and start doing stuff. You have to learn the process. You have to learn the methodologies. Kind of put in your time. Anyway, so let's watch a little bit of Angels of Shite, who thinks that this don't know if he's a surveyor and thinks it's debunking the globe. This is hilarious.
So I'm just wondering, what's that master for GPS? Oh, for the GoPro. All
right, so I don't know. It's a little hard to hear because, of course, Flurp audio sucks. I tried to clean it up, but there's only so much cleaning up you can do. So he never shows the surveyor's face, but you can see here. I mean, how old is this guy? Right, early 20s is my guess. And he goes, "What's the range on that?" And the kid's like, "You mean the GPS?" And he goes, "No, the theodolite." You don't see the theodolite. You just see the base of the theodolite here, the tripod. It says, "What's the range on it?" So here's his answer.
Well, you probably try to keep it under like 500 meters if you can. I mean, you can go probably like, if you have a big enough prism that it measures to you, like you can go for like a kilometer or two. But
okay, so he says 500 meters, and if you have a big enough prism, you can go a kilometer or two. Now, I don't think that this kid is talking about a theodolite, because theodolites have a longer range than that. It's not a prism, it's a telescope. So I think that he's thinking about an auto level, and auto levels don't reach that far. You don't want them to be measuring very far for precision. And the surveyors I've talked to, they're like 50 feet, 100 feet. That's a fine distance for an auto level to do differential leveling. There's variations, of course, but when you're saying, well, what's the extreme? Yeah, that's I don't think it's a cosplay, Red Cedar. I don't think it's a cosplay surveyor. I think this is just the guy that is, on the team that's doing kind of the grunt work. So you need a guy holding the stick. There's a guy over there holding the stick, and you got the guy who's measuring the stuff through the level. Well, the surveyor is got the guy measuring the stuff through the level. The guy who's holding the stick is just a monkey holding a stick. So I don't know. Maybe this guy is the monkey that holds the stick. Maybe he's the surveyor. No idea. He didn't get his name. Wouldn't that be fantastic if Angels of Shite cared enough to get the name of the guy and say, "Hey, I'd like to feature you on my video on TikTok"? No, none of that. He wouldn't want to have anything that's traceable, to go back to the guy and say, "Hey, dude, I'd like to ask you some more detailed questions about it." Anyway, so he says if you have a big enough prism, you can go a kilometer or two. Prism. Interesting.
kilometer or two, yeah. So do you take into account the curvature? Yeah.
Yeah. So read on the screen there. Let me zoom in so you know right here. You see this here? This part here? See that? This was added. This wasn't just a sign floating in space. This was something that Angels of Shite added, right? But what did this guy say when he's asked, "Do you take the curvature of the Earth into account?" This is what he said. He said, "Yeah." Right there, he said, "Yeah." So I don't know why you would think that this was a debunk of the globe. When the guy said yes, he does indeed take the curvature of the Earth into account. I mean, what are you doing here? Wait, hold on a second. Sifu. Hold on a second. Green Wizard Needs Food says Sifu is lonely and wants attention. Is Smo? Is Dion Smo here? I mean, Dion Smo is one of my favorite. Or am I? There he is. Ah, Dion, love you, man. Hey, you're always invited on. Send me a message if you want to join. Otherwise, you're welcome in the chat. Love to have you here. Always super happy. While we're talking here, Shedsy says talking smack about Pearl. We got a rumble, bro. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Perl's not a real programming language. Come on. I will talk smack about Perl all day long. Thank you, Shedsy. And Shedsy, while you're here, and everybody else who's in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, I'm planning a meetup. If you have a location that you'd like to meet up at, or a day that you'd like, things like that, send me a message and we can talk about it. I already got one response from the last time I mentioned, which was a fine one. So maybe that'll be the one we do. Anyway, just opening it up because sometime hopefully in June, and then maybe in August or September, do another one. So Eric Burns says, today was the last day of school for my county. Happy Thunes Day. Well, happy for you, Eric. Now you got nothing to do. Nothing to do at all. You know what you should do? You should do a series of videos teaching stuff, and I can feature them, and I'll get you lots of views and stuff. Send me a message. Call me. Have your people call my people. Jack Vetter for $5 says, Jack's tip for hiring a surveyor. Skip the resume and jump right into what shape is the Earth? You're welcome. Yeah, that's a good one. If they don't say the right answer, do not hire them. Tree Clam Todd says, Toon doing everything in Lua now. Oh my gosh, Lua. Oh my God. I have only looked at Lua. I've never written anything in Lua. And to my knowledge, it's not even a Turing complete language, but I could be wrong. I don't know enough about Lua to really say much. Shedsy says, I got an idea or two. I'll get back to you. Thanks, Shedsy. All right. All right, let's finish this here. Nothing from Dion Smo, but he's busy. You know Dion. He's always got stuff going on.
Only for the longer measurements. How much was that?
Only for longer measurements. That makes sense, because for short stuff, you don't need to do a whole lot. Thank you. My wife just brought me some coffee. Would you like to see? Hold on. I'm gonna make her give me a fist bump right here. They can't see. There you go. Thanks. I love you. You're the best. All right. She brought me coffee because we were gone. We went to some graduation parties, some other stuff, and then I'm like, I gotta stay up late because I got a video starting at 10 and at 1. So can you get some coffee? And so she was super nice and made me some coffee. Anyway, so here's the reason why. The reason why surveyors don't need to take into account the curvature of the Earth for horizontal measurements for short distances is because within, it's typically, they say within a 100 square kilometer, 100 square miles, one or the other. Because then what it is it's about 10 miles. I think it's 10 miles on each side, only for horizontal measurements. So that's doing this direction, right? Doing azimuth stuff and doing triangles. And the reason why is at 10 miles, the and Baron Rutledge has gone through this math, and I can't just ramble it off, but he's gone through the math. If you want to go find him on TikTok, several of his videos, he covers this. The variation between the chord length and the arc length at 10 miles is all of like less than an inch. So what that means is you've got if you're gonna measure from here to here, right? You've got the arc length there. That's the arc length versus the chord length. The chord length would be going through the earth, right? The shortest possible line in three-dimensional space versus the shortest line on the surface. That's the difference between arc length and chord length. The difference in arc length and chord length at 10 miles is some very small number, but they compound. So you take that error, and then it doesn't just double if you go 20 miles. It's much more than double if you go 20 miles, and that's why that's the limit. But vertical measurements, they always take it into account. There it is. I showed this the other night. I got the $2 bill as the bookmark right here. 8th edition Surveying by Francis Moffat and Harry Bouchard. The surveying operation of leveling takes into account the curvature of spheroidal surface in both plane and geodetic surveying. The level, so the surveying of leveling. So leveling is the vertical change in elevation. Okay, that's what's leveling. Okay, that's not marking out points, edges of boundaries and stuff. Leveling is what you need when you're doing water flow, for example, right? Which way is water going to flow? In plane surveying, you do take into account the spheroidal nature of the Earth. Even though they call it plane surveying, they still do for vertical measurements. I gotta sneeze. Gazunt me. All right. The leveling operation determines vertical distances and hence elevations and differences of elevation. So even in plane surveying, they take it into account. How do they do that? Typically in differential leveling, it's part of the process, and they don't, the people that, when you're just writing down the numbers and stuff and then applying the process and not thinking about what the process is doing and what the math is doing, you wouldn't think of it. Oh, I took the radius of the Earth in this step into account. That's not how it's done. It's done by the process being, I'm going to measure forward, I'm going to measure backward, the same distance, and it's not going to be a long distance. So when the guy had his probably level, and he's talking about the prism, and he's talking about, well, we can go a kilometer, 500 meters or maybe a kilometer. That's not a short distance. And so the reason why they don't want to go that far is because it introduces more variation. And so they don't certify auto levels for those long distances, because you need to do different techniques for longer distances than what an auto level can do and the process of differential leveling can do. It's not just like part of the pulling out the radius of the Earth and doing the trick. It's that you go forward, you go backward. And so if those distances are the same, there's the same amount of curvature forward and the same amount of curvature backward. And so when you do that differential, one side you add, the other side you subtract in your math. And so whatever curvature you had in your forward or foresight and in your backsight, since one side you add and one side you subtract, they cancel. Surveying is just brilliant in how they set it up. They have a whole bunch of stuff to just correct for things like that automatically. It's just part of the process. So there you go. All right. Almost done with this one. It's not very long.
4 kilometers, only like, I think, 2 millimeters or something.
Got it.
Okay. So He said, what's the curvature in a kilometer? And he said 2 millimeters. That is incorrect. It's 8 centimeters about. Really, curvature isn't even the answer. It's the linear drop from a horizontal tangent. What's the curvature in 1 kilometer? That would be 1/111th of a degree. That's the curvature. Curvature is measured in angles, right? Curve, not linear units. But I know what Angels of Shite is asking about, and he's asking for the linear drop. He isn't smart enough to understand the terminology. So it's the correct amount is 8 centimeters. But because he's probably doing differential leveling, you don't do it. None of that is part of your process, because the process takes into account, and so the adding and subtracting, that's where you're taking into account the curvature of the Earth.
Well, actually, I think it's like a centimeter. Centimeter. Sorry, this goes right. No, no. Okay. Yeah,
so for some reason, Angels of Shite thought that debunked the globe. It didn't, because the guy said, "Yep, we do take it into account." Anyway, that's the end of that particular video. They're not smart. I mean, he really did just destroy flat Earth, right? Because he talked to us, what he thought was a surveyor. I don't think he was, and the surveyor said, "Yes, we do take into account curvature of the Earth." So I don't get it. Kango44 says Lua is the best. Roblox is built in Lua. Is all of Roblox built in Lua? Oh, I don't know if that's the case. I'm pressing X to doubt. But I don't know. I'm just guessing. We got Atomic Aerials says, has anyone brought up that Aloha repeatedly tries to talk to kids about flat Earth on TikTok, like younger than 18? I have not. Oh, wait. Yes. Some people have said that he often does things with pressure or gas pressure or he goes by multiple different names, and he specifically is always targeting children, and they do stuff together. So that makes sense that he would be targeting children on TikTok. Stay away from the kids. Stay away from the kids, flatties. Anyway, one more time. Let me remind you, everybody, I invited the coward to join. He hasn't read the message yet, so maybe he'll come back. Maybe he'll respond and say, I demand that I defend my honor on your channel live. I'm like, nah, I'm going to humiliate you. You are so dumb. I can't believe Atomic Aerials again says, or that tons of businesses employ him as a speaker at conferences. Sure, would be embarrassing to find out the guy you got advice from is a dumb flirt. What does he do? I don't know what he does. That'd be interesting if he speaks at conferences. The guy is not a man. I would not put him in front of a crowd of people. He's not a communicator, is what I'm saying. Kango44 says, I like this channel a lot, but when it moves onto programming chat and it's about Java and Macs, it makes me want to puke. Maybe stick to subjects you know about or learn real languages. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is brutal. Come on. I like Python. I like TypeScript. You want to talk about TypeScript? Python? No. All right. Tree Clam Tad says, I really want advice from Angels of Shite. No. And Clem says, I love Pearl, but he spelled Pearl Pearl. So good. Jack Vetter says, sure he didn't mean this. Over a distance of 1 kilometer, the difference between the Earth's surface, the curve, arc, and a straight line chord is virtually imperceptible, about 0.004 millimeters. Oh, that could be if he was talking about the difference between a chord and an arc, that would be in the right approximate number. He said 2 millimeters, and I don't know, Jack Fetter, is your number correct at 0.04 millimeters? Because that is certainly the approximate, just from memory, the approximate amount. Kango44 says they even have their own branch. Roblox uses Luau. Adobe Photoshop Lightroom is built using Lua programming language. Wow. All right. I'll take your word for it for now. I'll look it up. Shedzy says Pearl, pathologically eclectic rubbish lister. What is this? This is programming talk. Sorry, Kango44. They're bringing it up, man. Astrocate says Let's should write an Earth curve calc in Modula 2. Oh my goodness. I don't know Modula 2. I've heard the name. I can't even place it. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's a very old language. Maybe mainframe? Is it mainframe? Oh no, wait. Caitlin was talking about how she had built her own homemade PDP-11. And, because what is more nerdy than building a PDP-11? Not much. Maybe that's where I don't know. I don't know where Modula 2 was used. Kango44 says Roblox backed is C++. The backend. See, that makes more sense. To me, Lua is like a scripting language where you like lay things out. And like I said, I've not ever programmed it. I've only seen it, and I don't have very rough memory of it. So, Modula 2 is nearly 50. All right. I'm watching my YouTube or my Facebook messages because there was a flatty defending Keith on my Facebook post from earlier today. I'm like, hey, since Keith is probably too much of a coward to come on, how about you take his place, you pop in and I'll humiliate you instead of him. So I'm just watching to see if he shows. Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, we got another came in. Astrocate says Unix System V System 5 is the best operating system ever. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, you don't have that. Like when I find myself on older variants, like if I'm ever on a Solaris machine, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even have the, good version of Find. Grep is a little different, not too much different. Like that, the utilities that I'm so used to are not there. So, but other than that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to trash on that. And I hope you're serious. Solaris is going away, abandoned. Yeah. I don't know when I last was on Solaris. I did plenty of time on Solaris on actual Sun hardware, but Max M sent a gift. Thank you for that. Did that? It didn't show up here. That's right. I didn't have a chance to pull it in, but thank you, Max M, for whatever that is there. Sent sunshine, super. Anyway, I did Solaris on actual Sun hardware a while ago. Yeah, we had. Oh my gosh, that was a beast. That machine was a beast that we were on. We had a bunch of them, but one of them that like lasted. The other we had our CVS installation on this one way overpowered Solaris machine, and it like everything else eventually got shut down on it, but we kept our CVS installation on it. This was when there was no Git, pre-Git. Okay. And so it way outlasted everything, and we used it for, longer until we moved it off to another machine, and we went from CVS to Subversion, and then that sucked, and then went back to CVS, and then tried Git when it was brand new. It wasn't ready. Went back to CVS, and then finally went to Git. Been to Git on Git forever. Jim Daniels says Nerd Chat is now trending on the YouTube. It certainly is right here, right now. All right. Let's go here. We've got, oh geez, this one. This is Hanvey. This is Joe Hanvey, as posted by Nathan Thompson on his TikTok.
This is a physical demonstration in the physical model. Here you can see the single rotating star field above. As I zoom into the southern sky, you can see the stars are rotating opposite to the single rotating star field.
Now, why did he add this lady blinking when you can't actually see anything? No idea.
Above in the southern sky. The rotation is slow, but you can see it when you look closely. Again, from above, the single rotating star field.
So now, for reference, the camera is outside the dome. If you don't know what he's doing, he's got this plastic dome, and then he's got, I don't know, did he stick these lights to the dome, or is it somewhere up above on the ceiling? I'm not sure where he did this, but the camera is outside the dome. Now, they don't claim that anywhere that we are on Earth, we are outside the dome, right? They think the dome is here and that we're inside. So in order to replicate it in a real physical model, where does the camera need to go? Inside, not outside. So he's being dishonest to start with. Gotta light a flurf, Joe Hanvey. Gotta light a flurf.
Field, and then I'm going to give you a God's eye view here to where.
So this is the God's eye view. The not only is it also outside, but it's from above, not from inside, from above. Why would you show that? That's of no use. None of us have that. You don't need to replicate the God's eye view. You need to replicate the view from the inside.
Looking down from God's point of view, when you zoom into the edge of the dome, the edges of the star field are rotating in an opposite direction.
But you know what they're not doing? They're not rotating around a single point. In reality, we see them rotating around a single point when you look due south, when you are south of the equator. So even in his demonstration, it's not showing what we see in reality.
And they're apparent to the viewer. They follow the viewer. This is that same model.
That doesn't help. That's from the outside.
From above, long exposure. The same model from underneath, long exposure.
That's not the southern hemisphere. That's the north. That's the center. Right? So it's the view from underneath. So this is apparently the camera inside, as he says, from here looking straight up, right? At the center, not looking to the outside, right? So when you're in South America here, right? And then you look this direction, like toward the camera, if the viewer, is where the South Celestial Pole is when you're sitting in the southern part of South America, right? This direction, and it needs to go around, right, clockwise. From my point of view, it needs to go around clockwise, right? That's not what we're seeing. He's showing the center in the middle, the north. That's not what we need. And they think this is a win.
Southern star trails in the sky, looking up. This is the personal azimuthal dome added in.
So the personal azimuthal dome, he added a secondary dome inside the first dome, and the camera is outside of this second dome as well.
Showing the star trails. This is the Space Audits model that Alan and Shane put out. Back to the God's eye view. When I zoom into the southern edge, you'll see at the edges There is an apparent opposite rotation that follows the observer, meaning it's apparent to the observer. He's always going to see it in the south.
All I saw was stars moving horizontally.
No matter how I do this, from above, from underneath, with the person.
Icy Spin says this is a bit, right? This is so stupid that it has to be a bit. It does. It seems like it seems like Hanvey is so incredibly, like, he doesn't make money on it though. Nathan Thompson does, but Hanvey doesn't. It can't be a bit. It can't be for money. It can't be for fame. He's not getting any fame out of it. Right? Why would he be doing it as a bit? He's not. He's really that dumb. He's so dumb that he thinks that by not having the camera show what we see in reality from the inside of the dome thing that he does, that it proves something. It doesn't. It proves that it's wrong. It baffles the mind how anybody could watch this and not say, hold on a second. You didn't show us what we see.
Personal azimuthal dome view added in. Any way I do it, it works. So
every way you do it, you just showed it doesn't work.
Southern star trails, all the star trails work just fine in the level Earth enclosed universe. You can even see the north, the equatorial, and the south trails.
Only from outside, and really not even then. And then he goes back to this one here. This is I think Alan and Shame's model. He says, "Can you tell where the camera is? Outside."
Again, the Space Audits model, awesome, by the way. Shane and Alan did
not awesome. Complete failure.
An excellent job. Long exposure from above.
Sorry. You weren't missing anything.
Northern.
He's just repeating the same stuff as before. Sorry.
Southern trails, long exposure from underneath. You can see the southern trails in the southern sky looking up from underneath. The personal azimuthal dome showing north, equatorial, and southern trails. And then this is the personal azimuthal dome looking at it straight on. So you see just one.
Straight on. That from outside.
One rotating star field, but from above you see all three.
From
it works.
We're never above. Oh, Eric Burns says, it baffles the mind, but you have to remember the fact that there are a lot of stupid people in the world. Yeah. The bottom 1% are the dumbest 1%, right? And that's flat earthers. Did I see, King Crew. King Crew is in the house. He says Miami, Florida. I thought that maybe I saw. Oh yeah, Unfornicated says Keith goes by Aloha from Florida on TikTok. Yes, sorry, he does go by that name. No, I didn't. I can't finish my sentence. Why can't I finish my sentence? I thought I saw a message from Sifu Smo, who tagged me, and so I would be seeing it in my little collectinator here, but I don't. Anyway, so good job showing a model that doesn't even work remotely, but saying it does. That's what baffles. He says it works, but it doesn't. All right. Oh, this is a good one. One of my first machines at work was the SGI Indigo 250,000 pounds to make spinning logos. Wow. We had, oh my gosh. We had a guy that completely snowed the management. He made them think that he was smart and he wasn't. And he wanted an SGI to play with. So he fooled them into thinking that we needed it for a print server, a print queue, to the color printer that we had. This was at a place that did typesetting, so we needed that. We needed that kind of stuff, but we didn't need a print. We didn't need an SGI box to do that. It was way too much. But he just wanted to play with one, so he fooled them into buying it, and then it just sat in the room with the printers. Never got used. Complete waste. But yeah, it was a big old SGI something. RT996's best was cruising BitNet on Vax VMS. Go Gopher. My goodness. I'm in Minnesota, where Gopher was invented. And the something vegan, a guy who comes to the meetups all the time, rides his bike to the meetups. He works with some of the people that did write Gopher. Ralph. Anyway, he's he came to a meetup at a place, and there was basically nothing vegan on the menu last summer. And he's like, I'll just have water. Super nice. He's like, I'm good. Don't worry about it. He biked there. This was in Bloomington. Look it up. This was in Bloomington. He came from, I think, St. Louis Park. That's a decent bike ride. Then he showed up in Chicago in November when Craig and I were there. And I'm like, did you ride your bike? He's like, no. Anyway, I used Gopher. I used WAIS very briefly. I used DeckNet. My goodness. When all the Vax terminals were full, a couple times, I'm like, I just got to get on quick. I had to use the teletype machine. Not kidding. A keyboard with a printer on it, and the display was the printer. You type a letter, it'd type it, right? You type the whole thing, but you were on the computer on the Vax. You do something like list files, enter. If you want to edit a file, you had to use a line editor. It sucked. It sucks. I do owe King Crew a book. I do. I'll be in Florida again. I will. Tree Clam Tad says 9 months later, and the outside IT contractor we're using still doesn't understand how I can use a terminal on my phone. Sigh. Yeah, I love having a terminal on my phone. I haven't had one on my phone for a while. But I have, with the problem then became with the reason why I stopped is because the firewalls, like I didn't want to mess with getting on the VPN on my phone. There's ways around it, but I didn't care enough. I didn't need to. The trick is you just write the tools you need and you put them on the web interface so that you don't have to telnet in. SSH in. Jack Better says big bad a boom in HD. Oh, is this the rocket that went boom? Let me see here. Oh, I did not see that. Blue Origin. That's not good. All right, let me pull that up. There we go. Thank you, Jack Fetter. I'll pull that up here quick, and we'll watch it together. All right, got an ad. There we go. Skip the ad. All right, here it is. All right. That's bad news for Blue Origin. Oh!
Oh no. Oh.
That's a cool shockwave. That's very bad. That tends to damage things. How was this the new Glen during a test? Man. Oh, that's very I don't follow Blue Origin as much. Are we gonna hear the boom? There it went. Wow. Yeah. I guess that kind of proves it's not helium, doesn't it? Helium doesn't explode. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
That's not helium. You idiot, Flurfs. You're so dumb. How can you be so dumb, Flurfs? PT Tony says, don't worry, those launch pads are usually in wildlife reserves, so no animals or plants were harmed. A lot of sarcasm there. Certainly in the vicinity, there's tends to be wildlife in that. So, dang, that's rough. That's not exciting. Definitely not exciting to see that. I mean, explosions are always exciting, but not the right kind of exciting. So sad for that. Okay. Tori Engel says, shout out to Duffy and his fundraiser for the TFE doc. Yes. He's people wanted to see a longer series of documentaries, and so he's working on doing that. He was recently on a podcast in person with Apollo the Original. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. I have actually not watched all of it yet. But if you really want the flurfs in the comments, wow. All they have are insults. None of them can address the topic, as always. Typically they're like, oh, he owes millions. No, he doesn't. Anyway, so there's that, and then he was on another one recently, which I forgot. It's a religious one. I forgot. Anyway, it's a lady. I've seen her around. Anyway, and then I spoke today. Let me tell you this. I spoke today on a video call with somebody that it was interesting. It was a very cordial conversation. We don't have beef, but Simon and Dan and this guy have beef for a long time. Anyway, I'm going to we're trying to arrange it, maybe be on a live stream on his channel. So there you go. Icy Spin has a recent Duffy vid link. I'll trust you and I'll pin it. There you go. So go in there. I'd love it if at least you get, just give a thumbs up to the good comments, a thumbs down to the bad comments, whatever you think are good or bad, and interact politely with the people in there. Definitely provide evidence. That's what I always do. And Apollo has his channel in a setting where you can provide links and that they aren't auto held. So please feel free to link to things. And of course, I have my website available so that people can easily access evidence. So feel free to use any of my pages or just get the evidence from my pages and link directly to that. I'm favoring more of the new stuff, like evidence for the Earth being a globe on flurf.info. So anybody can then basically put together a little wiki presentation for some topic, and you're all invited to do that. Make it good and on point, and put it on there. And also, of course, document the horribleness of the flurf. So, all right. Dirth's comments on that video are so derp. Makes sense why he only debates ChatGPT. Yeah, Dirth is on there. So if you want, you go on there and you can respond to Dirth and just do things like, if you thought the Earth was flat, why did you run away from the free trip? You should have gone on the free trip and exposed the whole thing, like the flat Earth Neo you think you are. If he was certain, he would have. All right. Here we are. This one is claims about flights. The ignorance.
Good morning. Aloha from Florida. So let's debunk the globe in 60 seconds with 3 facts from flight.
So, you're going to know. This won't be a surprise from you. This is as deep as he thinks about it. This is 100% of the evidence that he has on these 3 topics. every single thing that he has on these 3 topics, he's about to give.
The ADI does not lie. The TOD tells the truth, and the flight data proves the Earth is flat. The ADI, the gyroscope inside of the attitude indicator, references level from where it is set, and
it does not reference level from where it's set.
Doesn't matter how high, how fast, how far the airplane flies, it references level the entire time. It proves the Earth is flat and stationary.
So it does reference level, and level changes based on where you are. So let me get this again here. The definition of level, you don't get to change the definition of level. The definition of level is relative to where you are on the surface. So when you are here, level is this. And when you're here, level is this. Right? And of course, it's not straight. That's horizontal at this point. Level is actually a curve. So this is level. That's the definition of level. So if you're going to play definitions, that's what that means. If you disagree with the definition of level, that's fine. You need evidence for it to show that this is not correct. Now, I will do what flat earthers can't do. I will provide evidence that this is level, mctoon.net/r. That's all you need right there. I send it all the time. Never has any flat earther actually responded on topic to it. And you all can feel free to do that as well. Just say, here are the measurements that the Earth is curving, mctoon.net/r. Go look at it yourself. Make sure you know what you're sending people to. Anyway, that's how I can be certain, and I can speak with certainty that the definition of level matches the reality. This is just a representation of it, because there are measurements. Anyway, so this is level. Now, this is also level. A concentric sphere to this sphere, or concentric globe to this globe, is also level. So the gyroscope in an airplane, when you're on the ground, you set it, it starts spinning, and it's fixed in 3-dimensional space. Now, the gyroscopes in an airplane are not precise enough that over the course of multiple hours they would maintain that. They aren't that precise. It's really difficult to manufacture a gyroscope that's precise enough to maintain true rigidity in 3-dimensional space for multiple hours, because of the bearings. Basically, you've got physical things touching physical things. It's not perfect. There's friction. And there's ways that they deal with that in airplanes, which I'll get to in a minute. And it also deals with the fact that level is different, right? The horizontal plane is different when you're in a different spot. Remember, I said, since this is straight, this is a horizontal at that point. This is a horizontal line, and if it was a plane, it'd be a horizontal plane at that point. And this horizontal is different from this horizontal. Every spot on the surface of the Earth has a unique horizontal line. So when you have a gyroscope and it's showing you level, it's showing you the horizontal for this location, just this location. And when the airplane turns, when it banks, and you see that indicator bank, that's because it's remaining rigid in 3-dimensional space, mostly rigid. And then when it stops banking, it goes back to level. Now, how is it that when you're here and when you're here, it still remains relative to the surface at that location? The answer is that it has ports in it. So it's usually spun up by air pressure. So there's air blowing inside of it to keep it spinning, and the air has to escape somehow. And it escapes in a manner such that it is not causing it to rotate. But when the entire apparatus, the frame of that apparatus tilts, right, tilts to the side, there's a port hanging that to the side of it, around the perimeter of it, where air escapes out that port. Then when this little, right, the whole thing's rotates, and then there's just a little thing on a hinge. It's called a pendulous vane, and that opens up and it gets out of the way of this port. That air can now shoot out of it, and when the air shoots out of it, it slowly causes it to come back vertical. And as it comes back vertical, that hinged port, the pendulous vein, covers up the port again and will then no longer cause it to rotate. So when it goes this way, those ports open and it tends it back to vertical. So if you never bank, if the plane never banks, but it does go over the curve, as they say, and now vertical is different when you're in a new spot, as you do that, the pendulous veins will automatically open just a little bit when you're not totally, right? When you've done a little curve, right? You go on 1 degree, now the entire frame tilts a little bit, the port opens a little bit, and it pushes it back. And it's not just like it opens and then it closes. It opens a tiny bit when it's off, and it closes. And so there's just a tiny force when it's just a tiny bit off, always keeping it vertical. So it doesn't instantly right it, because that wouldn't be good, because then if you're in a bank, right, if you're banking, then it would, depending on how fast, it would then flip it back and say, because now the vertical vector changes when you're in a bank because you have centrifugal force as well. And then it would say your bank is level. And that would be bad news. So it can't do that. And could you bank for a long time? Could you just go in circles for a long time and then have it erroneously show vertical? You could. Thank you. My daughter, she's so awesome, just gave me 2 cookies with ice cream in the middle. All right. That's pretty good. Quedwash says less than 10% of aircraft still use mechanical gyroscopes. Oh, and of course, that's another problem. They're living in the past. They don't know what the new ones do or how they work. I did talk about that in a debate a while ago. All right, I think I explained that well enough. So he just made that claim. He has zero understanding of how it works. He thinks that he doesn't know that there exist pendulous veins. He doesn't even know that there's no gyroscope that's been manufactured in the history of humanity that would truly stay rigid in 3-dimensional space. No physical gyroscope, spinning physical gyroscope for multiple hours. So, all right. All true while he's talking.
The TOD, the top of descent calculation, always calculates a flat and a stationary baseline so the airplane can land accurately and safely.
And of course, that's not true at all. So the top of descent calculation. So this is when an airplane is at elevation and they are a certain distance from the airport, and they say, okay, we need to begin descending in order to get down to the correct elevation for the airport, right? So we're at 35,000 feet and we want to get down to the airport elevation. We're coming into Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. And what's the elevation? I don't know. And actually, let's just say it's 2,000 feet. It's maybe in that vicinity. So we're at 35,000. We need to decrease our elevation to 2,000. We need to take off 33,000 feet. 33,000. Uh-oh, Freemasons. No, you idiots. So how does it do that? Well, it says, well, I need to decrease my elevation a certain amount over this distance. It's actually not even caring about the geometry of the surface of the Earth. It's saying, well, we need to descend at X feet per time unit. We're currently at 35,000. We need to get to 2,000. So you subtract them, and then you divide, and then I think you divide by time, and then you multiply by your distance with time in it. I looked up the formula, but it has no geometry of the shape of the Earth in the computation at all. So it doesn't matter what shape the Earth is in this instance. In fact, the gyroscope with the pendulous vanes, the previous one, also doesn't care what the shape of the Earth is. It would work on all shapes of the Earth. It neither proves nor disproves anything about the shape of the Earth. So anyway, the top of descent, it just know it's how quickly do you need to reduce your elevation? And in order to do that, then how much do you need to modify the pitch of the plane to do that? And of course, you can reduce your thrust as well. So there you go. That's all it does. No geometry.
And the pitch data does not change.
Pitch data does not change. Really?
For thousands and thousands of miles at a time. Okay,
so, hold on. You want to see his dumb face as he's saying this. I apologize.
Baseline, so the airplane can land accurately and safely. And the pitch data does not change for thousands and thousands of miles at a time. It proves the Earth.
Okay, so pitch data. Let's have a look here. Back to this. So when you're here, you're at the equator, and here's your very much oversized airplane. What's the pitch? The pitch is 0, right? Now we're going to move up to here. It's in the air. What's the pitch? The pitch is 0. This is a positive pitch. This is a negative pitch. The pitch is 0. The pitch is relative to the surface. When you're in a different portion of the Earth from where you started, the surface has changed. They are so dumb that they think that when you begin on the ground, that the pitch for the entire flight is relative to this point on the ground. It's not. It's relative to where you are currently. So take off, nose up to take off, pitch positive, come up, get to elevation. Now here you are, 0 pitch. Now, what is your angle in relation to where you started? It's different. It has changed. But pitch isn't measuring that. Pitch is only measuring the relative position where you are at the moment. So here we are now, and now we want to descend. We do our top of descent calculation. We say we need to nose down by 1 degree. Probably, maybe still nose up, and because you can still lose elevation with your nose up. But let's just for I don't know. Maybe you do nose down. Let's just for the flurfs say you got a nose down. So now your pitch is negative. Is it negative in relation to this spot? No, it's not. It's negative in relation to this spot. So there you go. Pitch down so you can lose that altitude. So in fact, and once more, pitch is relative to where you are. It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. And so now he goes on to his religious rant. This is how flat earthers maintain flat Earth, right? Because it's a cult. They need to be constantly parroting their mantras. They need to constantly say them. They need to constantly hear them from other people in order to maintain the deception that flat earthers keep over each other.
The Earth is flat. So the ADI does not lie. The TOD tells the truth, and the pitch data proves flat Earth. You don't have to like it. You don't have to believe it. You can have your beliefs and opinions about it, the Earth being a blue ball, spinning, rotating, revolving, tilting, wobbling, and spiral vortexing in outer space.
Yeah. See that there's the mantra, right? The you need to say that at least 10 times a day in order to maintain your FLIRF credentials.
Or you can accept the truth. The Earth is flat. Have a great day.
Well, the Earth is not flat, and none of what you said had anything to do with determining the shape of the Earth. It is just, as always, a flat earther that doesn't have a clue about reality. No surprise. Okay, let's see here. Man, I'm still bummed about the big explosion there. Tree Tree Clam Tad says this man is an AI trying to get me into his van. Dark Star says maybe his level is from D&D. Yeah. And Icy Spin says, but why don't you fly into space? And this is how dumb flat earthers are. They actually think that if a plane didn't nose down, it would just go into space. Right. And I've seen somebody made the meme, and I downloaded it, I think, to my phone, but I have too many pictures in my phone to just find it. So what I do, I just favorite the memes that are flat earth related so I can find them easy. Yes, I that's how I do it. But I didn't do that. So if anybody has a meme or wants to make a meme of this, I would love it. It's using the same, you just use the same logic. You say, if the earth were a curve, then the boat captain would have to nose down the boat in order to not fly into the air. And then like a diagram of the boat leaving the surface of the water to go into the air. And of course, it's the same thing. There's something keeping the boat up. And if it's above that, it's not keeping it up anymore. It'll come back down to whatever's keeping it up. So if the earth is a globe, you would not need to do anything to a boat to keep it floating on the surface of the water. It does that automatically. It's part of the physics. So a meme of that sort would be really cool. Inquisitive Infidel says flat earth can't fathom constantly relative references. And that's 100%. That's the thing. They're like pitch data. That was Brian's logic, I think. He thought that he had broken new ground with pitch data. But, oh my goodness, no. Okay. All right. Effie can't fathom. All right. Now he's got, oh gosh, like it. Okay. We're going to go to shite again. And, but first I want to show you, how, a little portion of my presentation on Coriolis. Now, if you go to my website, mctoon.net/Coriolis, you can copy link. You can see the details on your own. You can look at them. A lot of the stuff, not all of it, but a lot of the stuff that I'm about to show you is on my website at mctoon.net/Coriolis. So, but I need to fix this. Discord, doop, that's not it. There it is. Show that. Presenter view. That's not the one. That's not the one. That's the one. All right. Well, but it's, I need to, there we go. Space of it. Okay. So here's a presentation I had with Sully, but I'm going to show you the flat earth misunderstanding of Coriolis right here. Okay. But where is it? Oh, nope. It's too fast. I know I'm going too fast here. I thought that I had a slide in here, but I don't. So the flat earth misunderstanding. If the earth rotates between a plane, a westbound flight should be significantly faster due to the ground moving eastward. Conversely, an eastbound flight should be slower as the plane fights the earth's rotation. So that is not Coriolis. That is the imagined universe where conservation of momentum doesn't exist. Coriolis is 0 at the equator. If a flat earther ever tries to describe Coriolis and the effect of whatever they're describing would be maximum at the equator, that's not Coriolis. Coriolis is a lateral force, and it's not very strong. It's maximized at the poles and zero at the equator. So here's where some flat earthers get the math wrong, but here's the real formula. The real formula is 2 times v, the velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth, times omega, which is the rotation of the Earth, the angular velocity, times the sine of the latitude. So sine of 0, the equator is 0, sine of 0 is 0, so that entire formula goes to 0 at the equator. If your velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth is 0, the entire equation goes to 0. So for a hovering helicopter, the velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth is 0. So if a flat earther says the Earth should spin underneath a hovering helicopter, that's not Coriolis. You don't understand Coriolis. Step 1, you need to understand the globe. You're not debunking the globe if you don't understand it. You're debunking something else. You're debunking your misunderstanding of the globe. Okay? Coriolis for a hot air balloon, very, very small because its velocity is small. Coriolis for an airplane at 70 degrees north, which is pretty high north, so it's going to be a rather high Coriolis at 600 miles an hour, which is faster than a lot of planes go, but I used a high value. The acceleration due to Coriolis, lateral acceleration due to Coriolis on an airplane in this instance, planes do fly that fast and they do fly that far north, so that's fine, is 0.0367 meters per second squared. And for reference, a not very strong crosswind on a 757 is about 10 times as powerful. So Coriolis for an airplane is rather small. They're not going actually that fast. Why is Coriolis something that you need to take into account for a bullet? Well, because a bullet goes faster. So an airplane here, look, 268 meters per second. A bullet, 853. So more than triple the speed. Okay. Number one. Number two, airplanes can turn, right? And so when an airplane is slightly off course, they can slightly adjust it, right? But this bullet here is traveling faster in relation to the surface of the Earth. So Coriolis is going to be a stronger force on that bullet. So here's the computation for a bullet moving at 2,800 feet per second or 853 meters per second. This is a reasonable muzzle velocity for a high-powered round like a 50 caliber. The acceleration due to Coriolis is 0.12, right? 4 times the acceleration as the airplane. So do you need to take into account for a long distance a shot? Yeah, if it's long enough, you do. If it's short, you don't. If it's less than 1,000 yards, generally no. If it's more than 1,000 yards, generally yes. And the longest ones are significantly more than 1,000 yards, and they always have taken them into account when they're doing like the one shot. So, all right, that is Coriolis. So you understand going into this what Coriolis is, and so you know that when shite is talking, you know what he's full of.
Yes, the Earth has Coriolis, and that is a proven fact, not up for debate.
Well, you heard it first. Now here comes the part where he denies it over and over.
So if I put a airplane flying at the equator east...
You put an airplane flying at the equator east, what is Coriolis, everybody? 0. Oh, I wasn't showing it. Sorry, hold on. There it is.
Going 500 miles per hour, and the Earth is spinning 1,000. Does the airplane lag behind?
That's not Coriolis.
Yes,
Correct, that's not Coriolis, and listen to shite.
it is.
No, it's not. You're going to need a citation for that, buddy.
No, it's not.
Coriolis is the apparent deflection of an object moving in a rotating system.
Yeah, and it's 0 at the equator. It's not it's not this imagined universe where conservation of momentum doesn't exist.
Okay, so it lagging behind, that's not Coriolis.
Does the Earth have Coriolis?
Yes.
So if I let go of a helium balloon, does the Earth rotate under it? Does it deviate?
Not very much because it's going up. There is some Coriolis enacting on a balloon as it rises through the atmosphere.
No. So here's where he's a little unprepared for this. Apologies for I'm forgetting his name. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I've seen him debate quite a bit, and I think as he's been on, he's anyway. Help me remember his name. Anyway, the vertical change in elevation, Coriolis isn't affected. A balloon, when you let it go, Coriolis is relative to what? The velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth. So when you let go of a helium balloon, its velocity in relation to the surface of the Earth is very, very small. It basically moves wherever the wind goes. And so the wind is affected by Coriolis. The balloon is affected by Coriolis, but not by very much. In a hurricane, it is, because in a hurricane, the wind is moving rather quickly and it's moving over a very long distance, and it's moving all of it together toward the center of the hurricane. And so that causes it, especially because it's going for a very long distance. And Simeon, it's not just as it travels north or south. And this is a little counterintuitive.
But there's not going to be very much.
So there's no Coriolis on the flying airplane, but there is Coriolis.
No, there is Coriolis in a flying airplane, and it's a small lateral force. See, he's getting everything wrong.
Coriolis on the balloon that's going up. Yeah, cool story, bro.
Does the atmosphere move with the Earth, or does it move separate?
It moves with the Earth, yes.
But it is independent of it. It's not physically connected to it, but there is something that causes the air to remain somewhat. If there's viscosity, right? So the air on the Earth will, if there's nothing causing it to continue to have wind, will eventually slow down because of the viscosity between the air and the surface of the Earth, right? But there's all sorts of things happening all the time. There's weather patterns that happen all the time, so it causes the air to move independent of the Earth. But as an entire mass, it's generally staying with the Earth as the Earth rotates. But it's a fluid, so it has the freedom to move around and respond to other forces.
So no Coriolis.
How did you get that?
If the atmos is moving perfectly in lockstep, is that what you're saying?
Not perfectly in lockstep, roughly in lockstep.
It moves in perfect lockstep.
I mean, there's jet streams, but yes, it moves with the Earth, yes.
Jet streams and trade winds go in opposite directions. They refute your Coriolis. But clouds move in all directions.
So again, he's using the wrong definition of Coriolis here.
Correct, because they're moving in relation to the atmosphere. The atmosphere itself is moving this way, but things can move within the atmosphere.
So the atmos moves in perfect lockstep, but
not perfect lockstep.
Clouds move in all directions.
Yes, because they're in a fluid. They can move where the forces push them.
Wow.
So if we hover a helicopter, does the Earth rotate under it and it deviates?
I already covered that, didn't I? It should not. Coriolis says that it should not.
So that's not Coriolis, because the Coriolis only is affected by things moving.
Oh, God.
He got that. That's the correct answer. But what did Angels of Shite do? He cut him off.
And like that airplane that you denied Coriolis on.
Okay, you can recreate Coriolis on a merry-go-round, right?
Correct.
If you hover a drone above a spinning merry-go-round, does...
If you hover a drone above a spinning merry-go-round, the air above the spinning merry-go-round is not moving with the merry-go-round. Right? You'd have to isolate it, right? Somehow, so that the air in the vicinity isn't affecting the air over that. So you could do something to isolate it, but it's not a perfect analog.
Does the merry-go-round spin under the drone?
Is the drone moving with the merry-go-round?
If it was, there'd be no Coriolis.
So the a better analog would be you put a person on the merry-go-round with a ball and a person on the other side of the merry-go-round, and you try to throw the ball to them. That's the analog, not the spinning drone, because the drone is using the air, and the air above a merry-go-round hasn't had an opportunity to synchronize with it due to viscosity.
There'd be no Coriolis effect.
Okay, that's not Coriolis, though.
Yes, it is.
So
It's still not Coriolis.
the atmosphere moving with the Earth is not Coriolis.
Yeah, exactly like I said earlier. If the atmosphere moves with the Earth, there's no Coriolis.
Well, the Earth is really, really big, and everything is already moving with it. And the
So there's no
atmosphere,
Coriolis.
that's not what the Coriolis is, dude.
What is the Coriolis? Define it.
So the Coriolis is when you are moving in relation to the Earth as it spins, okay?
Yeah, kind of like that airplane he denied Coriolis on.
So I'm spinning it on the axis. As we move from one place to another, the Earth is going to have a certain amount of spin while we're in the air. And that is because we're moving from latitude along the latitude lines. Because the helicopter
Did you see that jump cut there?
is not moving in relation to the Earth, it does not experience Coriolis.
Okay. Oh, great. So we move it north. Does the Earth rotate under it?
A little bit, yeah.
This guy just legit makes shit up on the.
No, he's completely correct. If you vary your latitude, you have a small change in the surface rotation, right? So, and again, it's minimized at the equator and maximized at the pole. Not a lot of flights happen near the poles. And where is it 50%? This is important. Anybody in the chat, where is, if the surface of the Earth at the equator, right? If Coriolis is 0 here and 100% here, this is your math quiz, everybody. Where is it 50%? Where along here, which latitude is Coriolis 50%? You math whiz, you hold off. PhD Tony, don't answer yet. All right, we've got some answers coming in. Where is it 50%? That's the question. All right. We got a 42. I like that, King Crew. You get points for that. At my house, at 45 degrees north is what Facty said. Your pal Al Retro Gamer says 45. Paul Schober says 45. Astrokate says 69. Nice. There has been one. There has been one. And Steve Bauman got that it's a trick question. It can't be at 45 too easy. It's not at 45. Red Cedar says pi over 3. We've got a second one that's correct. And is pi over 3 correct? I don't do radians. I don't. That might be. Anyway, it is at 60 degrees latitude, either north or south. And the reason why is because sine of 60 is 0.5. So you think about that. From when you're talking about, moving north and seeing how much the variation in the linear velocity of the Earth is from here to 45 degrees north, right? Not 60, 45. That's actually not much, right? That's why Coriolis in this vicinity isn't all that big. And that's why hurricanes don't work, not just at the equator, but as a bound on either side of the equator, because Coriolis is so small there. But it gets significantly, it increases in its variation as you go farther north. So it's at 60 north, which is about here. I know that because Anchorage is about 60 degrees north, right? This is where it's half the speed as here, or half the amount, right? As here, right? So anyway, bonus if you got that. Dicey Spin says, I saw Dirth do the same quiz with his chat the other day when he was teaching and stuff. Oh, never. They don't teach. Anyway, so remember, Angels of Shite here does not have the correct understanding of Coriolis, and he's being informed of how it works and rejecting it. Flurfs do not want to learn.
Spot. We move the helicopter north. It rotates under the helicopter. We fly a plane north. The Earth doesn't rotate under the plane.
That's wrong.
Are you serious? You know that the equator is moving 460 meters a second or 1,500 feet per second at the equator, right?
Yes.
So if an airplane is flying...
So now, once again, you can tell he's wrong because he's using the equator and Coriolis. Coriolis is 0 at the equator.
over the equator, north to south, does the equator spin 1,500 feet sideways under the airplane?
In relation to the airplane...
Oh my goodness, Red Beret. Don't anybody block that. This is amazing, Red Beret. Amazing. Let's see this here. Did he say, hold on. Come on, Calder. Don't do that. I don't want to make him a mod so that he doesn't get blocked. He did not say anything that gets blocked, Calder. Don't do that. Anyway, Red Beret claimed, he said, Toon loses the actual debates, runs away like a little girl, and comes back to act tough on pre-recorded videos. This is the best Glurths have to offer. Tell you what, Red Beret, you send me an email right now, mctoon@mctoon.net, and I will send back to you. Right back, you will get a Zoom link, and you can come on and not be a little scared girl. You can face me right here. You can see me, and you can bring your best evidence live, Red Beret, because you're so good at debate. Because you're not projecting when you say that I'm tough. That you're sarcastically saying that I'm tough on a pre-recorded video, right? You're tough, right? You're so tough that you're going to face me right now. MCToon@mctoon.net. Sack up, little boy. You won't. You're scared. But you know, I'm always happy. I'm always happy to destroy and humiliate another Flurfs. All they need to do is step up and say that they want to be the next one for me to destroy. They're few and far between these days, Red Beret. Maybe you can be the Neo. Be Flat Earth Neo. All right. We all know he's going to chicken out. He won't, right? He's a keyboard warrior.
No.
But in relation to the helicopter, yes.
In an airplane, they're not going to correct for Coriolis because they have to correct for wind more than Coriolis.
That's correct.
Does a sniper have to adjust for Coriolis?
Yes.
Slightly, yeah, depending on the directions they shoot.
So an airplane that
Not depending on the direction they shoot.
flies over the Earth thousands of miles doesn't have to account for Coriolis. Mm-hmm. But a bullet that's in the air for 2 seconds has to account for Coriolis.
Yes, because when we're shooting with this...
Did you notice that? He started laughing instead of letting him speak, and then clipped it. Shite is not interested in truth. He's only interested in posturing for his audience.
You said it rotates under the bullet, right? Does it?
Slightly, yeah.
Does it rotate under the airplane?
Slightly, yeah.
Oh, so now it does rotate under the
Always did.
airplane.
Is 10 feet to a plane that can correct while it's flying a lot?
Yeah, it can miss the runway.
Yeah, but...
It can miss the runway. As if they when they take off, they're like, let's aim toward the runway of the other side, and we're never going to make any corrections. That's not how you fly a plane. You're constantly making corrections. That's how planes work.
But we're correcting the entire time.
Oh, so now the airplane is correcting the entire time now. It doesn't move with
He said that. He said that from the beginning.
the Atmos anymore.
I thought you said planes don't adjust for Coriolis.
They adjust for wind more. They don't say, oh, this is the Coriolis suggestion.
Oh, so now they're not constantly adjusting. They just fly.
You're supposed to be telling me where the Earth has Coriolis, not where it doesn't.
It does have Coriolis. It's just not enough to matter.
Not enough to matter, but snipers have to adjust for it.
Yes.
So if we let go of a helium balloon at the equator,
If you let go, there's, again, 0 Coriolis at the equator.
the Earth rotates under the helium balloon 460 meters. Yes or no?
So that it is.
So he's just imagined that conservation of momentum doesn't exist.
Is the helium balloon still in the atmosphere?
Yeah.
Then no, it does not, because it's
so
moving
no
with
Coriolis.
the atmosphere. No,
Yeah,
so
no Coriolis.
you can just not understand what Coriolis is. That's fine. There is going to be a little bit of Coriolis, but really not enough to be measurable.
Oh, but he just told everybody earlier that snipers have to account for it. Okay, cool story, bro.
So, cool story, boy, yeah. And there we see, once again, just to review here, once again, the actual, right now, this is math, something that no flat earther can do. Right here. Apply the actual Coriolis formula right here. Right? Here it is for the helicopter or the balloon, the hot air balloon, the little mini one that you let go of that's on a string. The relative velocity is 0. Coriolis is 0. If you're at the equator, 0. Hot air balloon moving very slow in relation to the surface of the Earth. Right? 0.001 meters per second squared is the acceleration, right? Airplane, 0.03, not much. And a bullet, 0.124. Still not much, but 4 times more than the airplane. So how does, and he did a good job mostly of explaining it, but because Shite is a demon, he doesn't want to let the truth get out. He's working very hard to prevent the truth from getting shared. And so the truth is that an airplane will chart its route and say, all right, we're going to take off from, let's say it's going to be a rather long flight, and they're going to go from Sydney to Santiago, right? They're going to say, we're good. This is the straight line here, right? Goes across like this. That's the straight line. Okay. So we say, well, we'll start here, right? And we're going to put a waypoint here. There's actually more waypoints than this, but we're going to put a waypoint here at this, near the southern edge of New Zealand, right? And we're going to fly that direction. And then when we get near the waypoint, we're going to say, okay, well, we've got the next waypoint is over here, right? And so now what's the heading from where we are right now? What's the heading to the new waypoint? Well, if there's been no wind and the Coriolis has been small and whatever, you say, oh, we don't need to change the heading at all. We're currently headed for it. Or more likely, there's been some wind. We're slightly different from where we would be if we hadn't been shifted. There's been some Coriolis. And so we need to slightly vary, right? The wind is significantly stronger than Coriolis. So the wind, if there's no wind, yeah, then Coriolis would be the only thing they're correcting for. Not only, there's others. Anyway, then they'd say, okay, well, we're slightly off, so we need to vary our heading by half a degree. So they vary the heading a little bit. It's small enough that you don't even hardly notice when you're sitting in the plane. And then you get to your next waypoint. Again, you say, all right, what are we going to do? What's our new heading? And you're constantly adjusting your heading. But because each of the waypoints are very close to the idealized Great Circle route, or whatever route they're going to do, right? They may on the ground say, you know what, there's a weather pattern happening in one location. We're going to fly north or south of it to go get around it. Things change all the time, so they vary their flight paths due to real world situations. So that's how they do account for Coriolis and wind in an airplane. So, all right. Now, man, 1.5 hours to the big debate here. Anyway, thank you to Shite for lying again. That's all you got, right? If the only thing that you can do to debate the globe is to present your misunderstanding of the globe, you truly have lost. If you think the earth is flat, number one, go find evidence for flat. You don't need to talk about the globe when you're trying to claim that the earth is flat. But if you do want to try to talk about the globe, step one, understand the globe. Something no flat earther can do. They never do that. They're not smart enough. All right. This is good. This one will drive you crazy. This is so Dunning-Kruger. so very Dunning-Kruger.
Good afternoon, almost evening. Aloha from California again. Let's just talk for a minute and have some fun, and I'll be a bit of a smartass in this one, if that's okay, about being smart and intelligent versus being stupid and ignorant. I'll say this clearly, emphatically. Flat Earth is smart and intelligent.
Oh my gosh, it is so much not.
And the globe is stupid and ignorant. What's my proof for that? How about the fact that 96% of the heliocentric globe Earth solar system,
96% of the globe Earth solar system. Put this just the globe Earth solar system. 98% of the globe Earth solar system. He just said these words. 98% of the globe Earth solar system. And he's going to try to suggest, he's trying to suggest that the people that know that the Earth is a globe are not the smart ones. He's going to claim that. He's going to claim that the flatties are the smart ones. 98% of the solar system. Solar system. I want to make sure you understand. Solar system. Why? He didn't look. Red Beret didn't say anything that needs to get right. I don't. And look, Paint Slayer. I don't want to take away your wrench, but I need you to tell me why you thought that comment needed to be blocked. Why did this comment need to be blocked? I need an answer in order for you to keep your wrench. All right? I like freedom of speech. Why did this? Right? Why did this need to be blocked? I need an answer. All right? Everybody in the comment here that has a wrench, you tell me, what are the rules? What are the reasons to block people? Just type it in, people. If you have a wrench, type in what are the things that justify getting blocked. There's a couple. There's more than one, right? There are some people that you do get to play Whack-a-Flurf with, or Whack-a-Troll. 33UC, he gets it, right? Dick Wayne, he gets it. Red Beret, he doesn't. Right? It's going there. If they go there, and where? Usually talking about doing stuff with kids. That's where. That's what is over the line. Insult. This here. This is when a flat earther comes here and proves that they're an idiot, like Red Beret is. He's such an idiot, and he's proving it. This is what we want. We want him to come here and prove that flat earthers are idiots. And if you block him, then they won't do that. We lose that. Okay? So don't do that. I don't want to give him a wrench so that you can't do it. And I don't want to take away your wrench. So please honor my request. All right? Okay, be adults. That wasn't something that gets blocked, okay? We love it when they show that they're stupid. That's what this idiot is doing right here. All right, anyway. He's talking about 98% of the globe Earth solar system.
depends. It makes you have blind faith in dark matter and dark energy.
Let me back that up so you can hear again what he said.
Makes you centric globe Earth, the fact that 96% of the heliocentric globe Earth solar system depends. It makes you have blind faith in dark matter and dark energy for 96% of its model.
For 96% of the solar system, this guy who imagines that he's smarter than Globers has just said that he thinks that our model requires 96% of the solar system as dark energy and dark matter. That's how ignorant he is. That's how stupid and ignorant he is. Because the solar system doesn't need any dark matter or dark energy. Purely just the mass that we see in the sun and the planets is all we need for the solar system to work 100%. He doesn't even know what dark matter or dark energy is the hypothesis for. So, to be clear, it wasn't until we had powerful enough telescopes to see distant galaxies and then look at them and analyze them and say, well, here is the amount of matter that we see in this galaxy. And that matter will have this much mass. And then analyze the positions of the stars in that galaxy to see how then based on their size and the mass that's there, how fast should it rotate? And doing that, we see it's rotating faster than that computation suggests. And so there appears to be in galaxies more matter than we can see. So we've got evidence suggesting that in galaxies there's more matter than what we can see. Why is that? Today we don't know. There is something, we have hypotheses, and over time people have proposed hypotheses, and many of them have been identified as incorrect. And some of them have not yet been identified as incorrect. They're the ones that are still potential. So the name for it is dark matter. It's just a name, and it's basically a placeholder. There is more matter than we can see. It doesn't produce light. It's dark. So is it blind faith? In fact, it's not blind faith. It is pure empirical data, because we know how gravity works. We don't know how. We know the law of gravitational attraction. Let me say it like that. And so we know for what we see, this is what it should do, and it's not doing that precisely. And that is not 96%. That is a very small percent of the universe is what is the hypothesized dark matter. Dark energy is a whole different thing. That is, it appears that everything is moving away and accelerating away from us. And why is that? What is the cause of that acceleration? We don't see it, so it's dark. But there is apparently an acceleration. And what causes acceleration? Well, a force of some sort, an energy of some sort. So it's just, again, it's a placeholder that is a holding the place for what's causing the apparent accelerating expansion of the universe. And I hope I did that justice in my explanation there. So so anyway, that is but neither of those have any impact on the solar system at all. Not even a tiny bit. Neither of those have anything to do. So this guy here is so stupid and ignorant that he just didn't describe the globe solar system correctly, while trying to suggest that he is smart and intelligent. He is not. He is stupid and ignorant. The irony.
96% of what the solar system that you were taught in the second grade claims is based on two things that have never been observed, never been measured, never.
They've been observed and measured, not observed in like we can't see the darkness of them. We can see the effects of them. Similarly, we can't see radio waves. We can't see wind. Right? These are things that you can observe through their effect. So we can see the effect of dark matter, and we can see the effect of dark energy. Right?
Been proven, dark matter and dark energy. They also have the three-body problem. That dark matter and dark energy is based on the cosmological constant.
The three-body problem that dark matter and dark energy is based on the cosmological constant. No, it's not. You are stupid and ignorant.
Problem, which most people who believe in the globe have no idea what that is. It's funny that you have to agree to many things that you have no knowledge about if you're going to say the Earth is a globe.
And he's about to not have knowledge about something. So dumb.
But the 96% of the belief system being dark matter and dark energy, dealing with the cosmological constant problem, I could get deeper into that, but I'm not going to take the time for it.
He doesn't understand it, dude. You are too stupid.
And then also the three-body problem, where they cannot get more than two bodies of mass rotating and revolving around each other until they collapse on each other and destroy each other, completely fall apart.
That is not the three-body problem. He has just reified the three-body problem. He thinks that because we can't model it in a certain method, that it can't happen in reality. Completely backwards, right? Just because you can't model something in a particular method doesn't mean it can't happen in reality. So, in reality, we see that the solar system has multiple bodies. Planets, moons, asteroids. And so we know that these things happen in reality. We've looked at them and measured them and confirmed that they do in fact exist. And so whether or not we can produce a model for it using this particular method doesn't change the fact that these things are doing what these things are doing. So the three-body problem, let me start with this. The three-body problem has been solved in a way other than what he thinks is the only way, right? He doesn't understand the problem. He doesn't understand the three-body problem. Let me see if he makes a claim about, he suggests that you go look at a video in a second here. Let me see here. Did I get it? I did get it. Okay. Awesome.
It's all faith. You have to have a massive amount of blind faith. You have to be.
Wait. Let's test some things on faith here. Have you seen the dome? No, blind faith. Do you know what keeps the sun up? No, blind faith. Do you know what causes the sun's circle over the flat Earth to get larger and smaller? No, blind faith. Do you know what the sun is made of for flat Earth? No, blind faith. How far away is the sun? Don't know, blind faith. What is the method that pilots use to determine the distance between points on the surface of the Earth so that they can know how much fuel to put in their plane? You say it's not the Haversine formula, which is globe one, that they must use a flat Earth one. What is it? You don't know, blind faith, right? The entire flat Earth model, everything about flat Earth is blind faith. Every single thing, no exceptions. There's nothing about flat Earth that is not blind faith, right? What causes the bottom-up obstruction as things get farther away? They'll give you these answers, right? But none of these answers are actually, there's no evidence behind them. It's just blind faith. It's perspective. Perspective doesn't do it. Every single thing about flat Earth is blind faith. And he just projected into suggesting that the things about the globe is blind faith. No. The movement of the planets in the solar system is empirically measured. Whether or not we model it using a particular method, not the issue.
Stupid and ignorant to believe that the Earth is a globe. Once you become intelligent and you start questioning things and start researching reality for yourself, you become smart. I'll say again,
Oh my
flat Earth
gosh.
is smart and intelligent, and the globe is
No.
stupid and ignorant.
No.
One of the coolest, funniest things that I have seen about people believing the Earth is a globe and then looking into the three-body problem is a 5-minute TED Talk on YouTube. Just search three-body problem on YouTube and a 5-minute TED Talk should pop up. And he goes through 5 minutes worth of why it's impossible to solve. They can't solve it. They'll never solve it. At least most scientists believe they'll never solve it. And then at the end, he'll say, if you want more information about this, and then he recommends a science fiction novel. So 96%,
Which he didn't read, so he doesn't know what it's about.
if you believe in the globe, 96% of your model demands blind faith. And if you want more information about your blind faith, you need to go listen to or read a science fiction novel.
So he's conflated again. He's mixing everything up. Dark matter energy, solar system, three-body problem. Everything is mixed up into this big bundle of confusion.
So I'll say again, flat Earth is smart and
Oh my gosh, it's dumb. It's dumb. So dumb. Okay, so that particular video, I found it. I cannot play it because it's copyrighted, but I can read the text. In 2009, two researchers ran a simple experiment. They took everything we knew about our solar system and calculated every planet would be up to 5 billion years in the future. To do so, they ran over 2,000 numerical simulations with the same exact initial conditions, except for one difference. The difference between Mercury and the Sun. The distance. Modified by less than a millimeter from one simulation to the next. Shockingly, in about 1% of their simulations, Mercury's orbit changed so dramatically that it could plunge into the Sun or collide with Venus. Worse yet, in one simulation, it destabilized the entire inner solar system. This was no error. The astonishing variety in results reveals the truth that our solar system may be much less stable than it seems. No problem with that. Astrophysicists refer to this astonishing property of gravitational system as the n-body problem. Now, the n-body problem is about how we compute the positions in the future. While we have equations that can completely predict the motions of two gravitating masses, our analytical tools fall short when we faced with more populated systems. It's actually impossible to write down all the terms in a general formula that can exactly describe the motion of three or more gravitating objects. Okay, does that mean that they can't happen? It does not. It just means that this particular method of doing the analysis cannot do it. There are other methods. Why? The issue ties in how many unknown variables an n-body system contains. Thanks to Isaac Newton, we can write a set of equations to describe the gravitational force acting between bodies. However, when trying to find a general solution, is there a general solution for this is what they're looking for. For the unknown variables in the equations, we're faced with a mathematical constraint. For each unknown variable in these equations, we're faced with a for each unknown, there must be at least one equation that independently describes it. This is high school math. If you have multiple variables and multiple equations, you can solve for everything if you have enough equations for the unknowns. Right. Initially, a two-body system appears to have more unknown variables for position and velocity than equations of motion. However, there's a trick. Consider the relative position and velocity of the two bodies with respect to the center of gravity of the system. This reduces the number of unknowns and leaves us with a solvable system. With three or more orbiting objects in the picture, everything gets messier. Even with the same mathematical trick of considering relative motions, we're left with more unknowns than equations describing them. Why is that? They're saying in relation to the center of the rotation of the two objects. Well, with two objects, the center doesn't move. With 3 objects, the center moves. That's why now we've introduced one more thing that varies. And that's why this particular method doesn't do it. I'm not going to continue on this. You can look up the video yourself. There are other methods that you can use to do it. And what is the hard evidence that we can do that? Well, using just the 3 bodies of the moon, the earth, and the sun, people have been able to predict with great accuracy. Oh, look at that. It's green. You can see through it, sort of. With great accuracy, the position of the future position of the earth, moon, and sun. Well enough to predict with precision where the eclipse will be in 2024, April 8 of 2024. This book was published prior to 2020, so well ahead of 4 years ahead of time. So if the n-body problem doesn't have any solution at all, how is it that this page exists in reality? And then when I went to Texas and I sat in the center of the path of totality according to the computations, how is it that was the exact center of the eclipse? How did they do that if the problem hasn't been solved? The problem has been solved using different methods. That's how. Now, that's the past. The future has yet to come. There is a total solar eclipse in August of 2027, a bit over a year from now. Okay? So, this is future. It will go across the northern stripe here of Africa and some of Saudi Arabia. Right? This is going to happen in the future. Maybe it'll be wrong, and the flat earthers could be right then, because they'll have the prediction using flat earth geometry. But no, of course, we know that won't happen. This is what's going to happen in reality. So the n-body problem has been solved using non-simple equation methods. Let's see. They don't see the reason. Yeah, in this video they don't go over it. The other methods. So I recommend you go on your own. Let's see here. The story. Let's see. By approaching the solution with increasingly powerful processors, we can more confidently predict the motion of n-body systems on long timescales. And if one body in a group of 3 is so light, it exerts no significant force on the other 2, the system behaves with a very good approximation as a 2-body system. This approach is known as the restricted 3-body problem. Okay, in his citation, First Law Flurf, it proves extremely useful in describing, for example, an asteroid in an Earth-Sun gravitational field or a small planet in the field of a black hole and a star. As for our solar system, you'll be happy to hear that we have reasonable confidence in its stability for at least the next several 100 million years. This is his citation. Though if another star launched from across the galaxy is on its way to us, all bets are off. So that's his citation, First Law of Flurf. I just got a message from Sam. Looking forward. Nothing from Keith. Amazing. Okay. I got one more from this monkey. A poorly educated monkey. He's so dumb. And it's called time zones. Yeah, time zones. I did, there's a new Flurf wiki page. There's a new Flurf wiki page. If you want a preview, you know how to find it.
Good afternoon. Aloha from Florida. Just about solar noon when the sun is directly overhead. So let's just mention something about time zones.
It's not directly overhead unless you're inside the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. at the very specific one. And to my knowledge, Florida is not.
Real quick. And then if you're a globe zealot, you really, really believe the Earth is a globe, why don't you try to explain this on your globe?
Okay, I will.
In the far north, there are 18 time zones. In the
Are there? Are there only 18 time zones in the north?
far south, there are 32 time zones.
What? There are 32 time zones in the south? You don't say.
Time zones usually come from solar noon, when the sun is directly overhead.
No. Time zones are related to that, but there's many other reasons why you might have a time zone selection. For example, China has one time zone, even though it's very, very wide. It's a political question, not about what time the sun is overhead.
The reason there are 18 time zones in the north and 32 time zones in the far south
is because it takes 18 hours for the sun to go around the north and 32 hours for the sun to go around the south. Is that why? I don't think he's going to say that. He doesn't.
It's because of the path of the sun. The path of the sun is much smaller and even slower when it's up over the Tropic of Cancer, which is about where he is right now. We'll be there on June 20th for the summer solstice. And the path of the sun is going around a much larger geographic area in the south, and that's why there's 32 time zones down there.
So what he's saying here is wherever there's more time zones, the sun will be moving at a different rate because of different time zones. So if there's more time zones in the south than in the north, that's because the Tropic of Capricorn is bigger. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. More time zones means the tropic that is in that portion of the earth is bigger. That's what he's saying.
Most globe zealots have no idea what I just said.
Well, yeah, because most people don't really care about this particular topic. So, but do you actually know about this idea? Are you actually knowledgeable?
That there's 18 time zones in the north and 32 in the south.
How many in the north? 18. Let me write that down. 18, and I'm going to... 18 in the north. 18 in north and 32 in south. All right. 18. I wrote it down right here. I wrote it down. All right. So we'll know when we actually get to it. Anyway, and so whatever reality is, more time zones means the tropic that's near it is bigger. That's what he said.
If they do learn that truth, they will try to explain it away. They'll try to make an excuse for it. But in reality, we have less time zones in the north, a lot less, and a lot more in the south, because the circuit of our small local electric sun is moving around the electromagnetic center of our flat Earth, which is the North Pole on the ground and the North Star in the sky.
None of that is true. Oh my goodness, none of that is true. The North Magnetic Pole and Polaris don't have a relationship with each other like that. The North Magnetic Pole and Polaris both move. Neither of them are directly in the center of rotation, and I don't know if they've ever actually coincided.
Electromagnetic pole is the center of our flat Earth. That is geo-Earth centric center. It's not the ball Earth, the globe Earth belief system being in the center.
So the center is wherever there are less time zones, people. Wherever there are less time zones is where the center is.
The solar system, Earth. That's not it. We don't have a solar system. We have an Earth system, and the center of the Earth is the North Pole on the ground and the North Star in the sky.
That's because there's more time zones in the south, right? Because there's less time zones in the north.
And the sun, moon, planets, and stars, the fixed constellations, all move around that electromagnetic pole in perfect repeating cycles, like divine.
Perfect repeating cycles. What actual repeating cycle? Like Polaris has never been at the particular declination that it is now, and it won't be there in the future again. So it's not actually repeating. That's what's really funny. Nothing in the sky repeats perfectly, right? Nothing. The declination of the sun is never the same year to year. It's very minuscule changes, and we're able to measure it and know that it changes. But no, never mind.
and clockwork. So again, time zones make perfect sense on geocentric flat and stationary Earth. It would make zero sense to have 18 time zones in the north and 32
if there are 18 in the north and 32 in the south.
South on the globe.
If that was the case.
The globe is dead. The globe is cooked. Flat Earth is the truth, and truth is strong. Have a great day. God bless. Oh, go check out. Let's see.
No, I don't want to hear what you want to check out. Okay. So, is that the case? Is that the case? Well, unlike flat earthers, I do my own research. Unlike flat earthers, I do my own research. So here is, and I published it for everybody. This is what you are all invited to do. You are invited to do some research and publish it on the Flurf Wiki if you want. Everybody can do this. So what did I do? I went and I counted the time zones that are in the north and that are in the south. Now let's remember what the self-proclaimed smart person said. He said there's 18 in the north and 32 in the south. Certainly he did his own research. He is of the do your own research committee, right? Well, anyway, I list my citation. It's a Wikipedia link. It gives a long list. And there's also at the very bottom here, time zones on timeanddate.com and time.is, another one. So anyway, here is the list in the Northern Hemisphere, Baker Island, Samoa, Hawaii, right? So you've got this 930 UTC minus 930 here, right? So you've got this UTC minus 330 here. Now, which ones are missing? Which hour? Which whole hour time zones are missing? Well, not a lot in the north. So your base is almost 24 if you just look at that. There are a couple that are missing. UTC plus 13 is missing. Whoop-de-doo. But you're not going to actually find many that are missing. I don't know. I think UTC minus 3 is missing. Okay, anyway, there's a handful of half offsets. So you got the French Polynesia. You've got Newfoundland is half an hour offset. You've got Iran is half an hour offset. Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, and India. You've got Nepal is 15-minute offset. And Myanmar, half an hour offset. You got 45-minute for Western Australia. And then Kiribati Islands, which is UTC plus 14. So if you want, you could make the case that this one doesn't count. So subtract 1 for this. I didn't subtract 1 because he just said time zone. So I use this, but feel free if you don't like, if you think, well, this is actually just plus 2 or minus 2. Anyway, it overlaps another one. Just it's off by a day. How many in the north? Well, let's get to that in a minute. In the south, we've got, your baseline is every hour, but there are some hours in the south that are missing. You've got from 10 UTC minus 10 to UTC minus 6, or there's a few missing there. We're missing minus 5. We're missing minus 1. We're missing plus 1. We're missing straight UTC in the south. There's no UTC plus 0 in the south. And look at that. We have a jump from plus 2 to plus 8. Now, Australia has a couple more, 45, 30, 30, right? And then we get to New Zealand Islands, 45. And then we got a plus 13. So you could subtract 1 here for the plus 13 if you wanted, because that's going to overlap another one, except the day is going to shift. So there it is. There's the exhaustive list of time zones. What's the count? Well, the count is the Northern Hemisphere has 33 and the Southern has 17. What did Dingleflurf say? He said there's 18 in the North and 32 in the South. He's actually got it swapped. He's got it almost perfectly swapped. He didn't do his own research. I did my own research. Anybody, if you think I'm wrong, flurf.info, just search for time zones and find out and go and correct me on there. Feel free. But there it is. turns out that he's wrong. And so let's go back to his claim. He thinks that because there are more in the north or south, right? Whichever one has less, whichever has less, that's got to be the center. So according to him, flat Earth is not centered on the North Pole, it's centered on the South Pole, by his logic. And the North Pole must be the ice wall, except it's not. Good luck with that. Suddenly everything falls apart. There's no more ice wall, people. My goodness, what an idiot. How can you be that stupid? You didn't even look. You didn't even look, you lazy, gullible idiot. This is how stupid flat earthers are. He didn't look. He just heard somebody say it and had blind faith that it was correct. Who said it? I know that Whitspit has said it. Where did he get it? I don't know where he got it. He probably just parroted somebody else and blindly said it. So it's actually super easy to figure out, because the North has more landmass and more people. So it's significantly more likely that there's going to be a 1 hour time zone for each of the 24 hours. And in fact, with I think one exception, that's what we have. I think it's right on the international dateline here. Right? I think it was a plus 12 or minus 12 that was missing. And that's it for your base of 24. So you're down to 23, but then there's a handful of 15-minute and 30-minute offsets. So that's how you get 33 in the north, or 32 if you don't want to count the plus 14. And then in the south, there's not nearly as many land masses. So I don't know where he gets the 32 claim in the south. Where does he get that? I don't know. Because there's big gaps missing. There's not a lot of time zones here, because there's not a lot of people living there to have time zones. But if you want to be super precise and just say, well, we're just going to go based purely on geometry, which is what this is doing, right? This is a time and longitude calculator, right? This is figuring out the time differential, ignoring geopolitical time zones. That's what this little thing here is, right? When you actually had the map, there's a little cardstock thing that's riveted in the middle, and then you rotate it around. And this particular scan of it, it's been broken off, but there are other scans where it goes all the way out. And so around the perimeter, it has numbers in Roman numerals. So you point it to where you are on the globe, and you look at the Roman numeral, and you point it to somewhere else on the globe, and then you have the Roman numerals for both of those, and then you just subtract to find out how many hours offset you are. That's what this is patented for. Icy Spin says, do you think Adelaide actually deserves to be a special time zone boy? I don't know. All right. I'm every time I hear him talk, I'm newly amazed at how dumb Keith Cameron Smith is. Aloha from Florida is so dumb. So dumb. And he talks as if he's smarter than everybody else on the globe. He actually thinks that he's smarter. It is so Dunning-Kruger. And on top of that, such a coward, such an absolute blazing coward. Okay, so I'm going to ask, I would love to find this. So he published a video. I saw the video before we went to Antarctica, where he claimed the sun would set. He said that. I'm very certain that he deleted that video. If somebody could find it, I will love you long time. If you could find that video, it was shortly before we went to TFE. I don't know how short. A week, a month. Somewhere between a day and 6 months before is where he published it. I've looked at every TikTok video he has in that time frame currently on his TikTok. Not there. I have 4K Talkit that I use to auto download things. It does not have that video. 4K Talkit I don't run constantly, so it does not always get everything, and it does miss things that people delete. And also, remember when last week when I was playing the videos where the audio wasn't there? 4K Talkit is the thing that I was using that does not get the audio all the time. So anyway, if you got a copy of it, or you can find a copy somewhere and bring it to me, love you long time. All right, let's see. Red Beret sent me an email, right? Because he's not a chicken. Oh, he's a chicken. So all this big talk from Red Beret, turns out all hypocrisy. The irony, Red Beret. Elder Bear is here. I heard Elder Bear going up with Oakley yesterday a little bit. I love hearing Elder Bear, but you know, you can only listen to him for so long because he goes off the rails. So anyway, Red Bray, what happened? Did your email not work? Anyway, Red Bray says, "Law from Florida puts your religion in the dirt." It doesn't actually. Everybody here, every single person here just saw how incredibly stupid he is. Everybody here. Nothing about what he said was right. Nothing. He never got one thing right. So, I don't know. Calder V, is he's dumber than the fittest flat earther? He might be. Calder V, dumber than Tyler Hansen, aka fittest flurfer. Yes, I think he is dumber. All right. Let's see. FE, Inquisitive Infidel says FE can't fathom constantly relative references. And yeah, that is what pitch data is. That is what, well, basically that's everything about flight that flurfs don't understand. Nope. Icy Spin says, Toon better be ready for the real Starman. Oh, I'm getting ready. I got right here. Oh, right. You hear that? I'm ready. I'm ready. Totally ready. Right. I got these right here. You hear these? Right here. This. Right here. See that? I'm ready for that. I got me some, it's a jar. The jar here that says maple syrup, right? I'm ready, right? Man, I'm so ready. I got my NASA mug. I should get a CSA, Chinese Canadian Space Agency mug. All right. Philip Beretta says in-flight pitch is used to control your airspeed and throttle is used to control climb or descent. To start the descent, you decrease power. Nose drop speed is constant. So, yeah, and that's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it because I wasn't certain enough. But, yeah, you don't need to, because there's the physics of flight, you're always nose up because you're always fighting against gravity, right? So you're always angling up to try to, fight against it. But gravity's pulling you down. So you're in equilibrium then. And so if you slightly slow down, still nose up, then because you're not getting as much lift because there's not as much air going over the wings, then you lose that elevation at a certain rate. And all this is known for different airplanes. And so when you're computing how you drop, how quickly you need to drop for a certain distance, that's how you do it. IC Spin says, ones in chat if you are SIG. There it is. If you are SIG, put a 1 in chat. Probably not get a lot of them. Probably just 1. Mr. E-Man Original says, for 5 Australians, says flat earth evidence is equal to -1 to the power of 0.5. So that'd be the square root of -1, which is the imaginary number. I like how you did that. That's nice. Clems says, is it possible to have that slide? Which slide? You know what? I can do better than that. I can give you the whole presentation here. Hold on. Share. My core. I assume it's my Coriolis. Oh, I closed it. I gotta grab it again here. Hold on. Slides. Coriolis. Right there. Share. Copy link. There it is. All right. In the chat. There you go. Right here. So there, that anybody can grab that, and you can view the presentation. Yeah. Thank you, Clems. He says the slide you brought up regarding Coriolis. So there it is, everybody. Right above it. Nice. Right here. See that? Look at that. Right there. Immediately above his new super chat is the link to it. There you go. And then mctoon.net/Coriolis has some of the citation, but that is more recent, has a few more things. I haven't put everything in there. So over time that happens. Darkstar says, I just lost brain cells from hearing that. Oh yeah, he's so dumb. Inquisitive Infidel says 77% of all stats are made up on the spot. I heard it was 83%. At least I just made that up. DP Debunk says 96% of Aloha seems to be cheap bourbon. Bourbon's too expensive. Right? You got to be cheap, something cheaper than bourbon. Right? I don't know. I'm actually not very good. Maybe bourbon is the cheapest of all cheap liquors. But I feel like because bourbon is basically distilled wine. Right? Is that it? No, that's cognac. Cognac is distilled wine. Bourbon, okay, it could be bourbon. What? Bourbon is like cheap stuff. Really cheap stuff. Grains, right? Grains are really cheap. I don't know. What am I talking about? I'm not much of a drinker. Rick DeBit says this guy has AI eyebrows. Can't be real. Nick N says, I sent you a Discord DM with a short video related to aircraft gyros. Is it the oh yeah, that one's really good. I tell you what, I'll grab this. What time do we got here? I don't have time because we got another one coming up. I'll put this in here. I've watched that one. It's really good. It's really good. I recommend everybody go watch that. Hello, Penguin. What are you doing? Oh, it's playing. Hold on. Penguin. What? What do you want? Come here, Popper. All right. She wanted me to pick her up. Hello. How you doing? She comes in, she starts licking my leg. I'm like, that's not safe. Don't do that. What do you want to see? You want to see the people? Look at all the people. Oh. If I do this, are you gonna When she's on the ground, I can't show you, but when she's on the ground, she'll do that with her paws. Can you do that with your paws right now, pup? No? I did it before and you did it? No? Okay. Good girl. All right. Anyway, thank you for that, Nick N. That is a good video. Everybody should definitely go watch it, and maybe I'll feature it in the future. I don't think I'll have time today. So you gotta go change your underwear, everybody, before the real Starman comes on. Maybe. I don't know if he's gonna be here or not. Dark Star says, no one has ever said, I think I'll become a flat earther. There is no thinking involved. Correct. Astrocate says, Electric Sun, that was the name of my high school band. Was it really? Are you just saying that? That sounds like a great name. DP Debunk says, you got to take Mikey and Sam seriously, bro. Yep. Oh, where is... I have it. I have the shirt, right? I bought the shirt. I don't know where it is right now. I haven't seen it for a while. The Mikey, the shirt is super cheap. It's like super cheaply made. And then the entire front of it is all covered with ink. So the shirt does not wear well. It really does not wear well. So I don't wear it ever unless I'm doing it for a special occasion on camera. And so I don't know where I put it because I haven't worn it forever. I think the last time I wore it was when I was talking with the Crunk Debunk when he was wearing it by chance. I really should have been wearing it, but I don't have it for today. Oh, I'm kicking myself. Clem says the slide you brought up regarding Coriolis. Mr. E-Man says, Red Beret decided that his flat earth evidence was so weak that it would not stand up to any scrutiny. 100%. 100% Red Beret knows that he doesn't have anything that would stand up to me. I mean, Red Beret, if you want, you can take down the final boss. That's me, right? You can go after the final boss. Your invitation is open, but I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready. You think? What do you think? Penguin, no? Why are you panting? It's not that warm. You're so funny. Clems says, you're the best. Thank you for that. The $50 Canadian super chat. And that it's right in my face. Now, if I stand here, it's not. That gets the super fancy animation with the Tron light cycle going across the screen. Right, the little scan line going right here, right, and then when I release it, it falls. Thank you so much for that, Clems. Jack Vetter for 20 says, "Oh wait, what's the animation for this one?" It bounces in from the top. Says, "To be honest, I still had to look up Coriolis. What helped me was standing in center of a merry-go-round, throwing the ball to the edge versus closer to the edge. The east and west had me confused still. Now get that centrifugal force acting." So yeah, it is confusing, but the reason why here's there's not a problem that you have to look up Coriolis, right? Flat earthers are claiming that they know more about Coriolis than everybody else, but they get it wrong. So if you're going to be claiming that you're right about it, you've got to be right about it. If you're going to bring it up in a debate, you've got to be right about it. Flat earthers. You don't have an excuse. You're declaring that you're smarter than everybody else. You better be right. So it's fine for people to not know about Coriolis. It's an uncommon thing. It's not a super powerful force, and you only need to deal with it in certain circumstances. So why is it that when you're going east and west, you still have to account for Coriolis? Well, that's because if you're going straight east with something on the surface of the Earth, it's not following the same line of latitude, unless you're on the equator. It's actually varying. You are actually changing your latitude, even if you're going straight east or straight west. Anyway, it's counterintuitive. And people have challenged me on it before, and I'm like, okay, let me look into it again. Specifically, Leslie Rohrer, really smart guy, and he has said that he thought I was wrong. And I looked into it again. I'm like, I can't find that this is incorrect. So the Utvush effect is a vertical effect, and that one does rely on the direction of things. So if you're going straight east, straight west, the Utvush effect changes for a bullet or a artillery, changes the distance it's going to go, and it doesn't change it when you're going north or south. So at least on the equator. So Peter Collins says 5 years, best channel ever. Thanks, Mike. Well, thank you very much for suggesting my channel is the best channel ever. There are so many good channels, and to just give that suggestion, it does mean a lot. So let's see. We've got Dirt87 says, I sent you a Discord message. What about my airplane? Oh, well, let me look at this here. That looks interesting. Let me grab this, put it into the video for today. And we can look at it quick. Oh, it doesn't go in there. It goes in here. Okay. Let me drop this off of the screen. Go to this, and we'll look at... Penguin, why are you digging? There's a pad on the floor, and she's digging on the pad for no reason. So, okay. But you know, they like to dig. Okay, this is about aircraft, and so this is new to me. So this was sent from the General Aviation Joint Steering Committee Safety Enhancement topic. Best glide speed and distance. The this committee has determined that a significant number of general aviation fatalities could be avoided if pilots were better informed and trained in determining and flying their aircraft at the best glide speed while maneuvering to complete a forced landing. What is the best glide speed? It's the speed you'll get the greatest distance, or the speed that gets you the longest time in the air, or are these two the same? The longer you fly, the further you go. Well, as so often is the case, the best glide speed depends on what you're trying to do. Going the distance, if it's distance you want, then you'll need to use the speed and configuration that will get you the most distance. This is often referred to as the best glide speed, and on most airplanes, it will be roughly halfway between Vx, best angle of climb speed, and Vy, best rate of climb speed. So here's a couple aircraft as examples, and then the Vx, the best glide, and the Vy. Keep in mind the speed will increase with weight. So most manufacturers will establish the best glide speed at gross weight for the airplane. This means your best glide speed will be a little lower for lower aircraft weights. Need more time? If you're interested in staying in the air as long as possible to either fix the problem or to communicate your intentions and prepare for a forced landing, then the minimum sink speed is what you'll need. The speed is rarely found in pilot operating handbooks, but it'll be a little slower than maximum glide speed range. Okay, there's a second page right here. What about my airplane? If you're wondering about the airplane you fly, you can do some experiments on a dual flight with your in-flight instructor. How far can I glide? Right, forced landing tips. Okay. Position is key for any type of gliding approach. You'll want to reach a key position or base that you'll know to make a successful landing. So there you go. Very nice. This is the kind of information that no flat earther would ever consider looking at. Right? They do. How do they do their research? Well, first of all, they're happy to just parrot somebody else. But if they're going to try to pretend like they're doing research, they will only go as far as they need in order to convince themselves that they found proof. And then they'll stop. They won't look any further. What are the details? Don't know. What's the math? Don't know. What's the physics? Don't know. What's the geometry? Don't know. Flat. That's it. Just like when they cherry pick, they go to a document that's from the government and they search for flat. They find a sentence that says flat, and then they crop out. They don't even take the full sentence sometimes. They take that, read nothing else, and say, oh, that's proof, without knowing anything about the actual topic. Absolutely. Bruce Wayne says, do you have a dog? Of course I have a dog. He just was holding her. Maybe you weren't here. Red Beret says flat, put it on a shirt. No. Anyway, somebody asked my shirt says, if I say, first of all, run away because I've prepared research data, charts, and I will destroy you. And that's why Red Beret ran away, because I will destroy him. Let me double check. Nope, no email from him. Turns out he's a coward. Nobody's surprised. Calvin Forey says, Toon, have a great debate with Starman. It's not described as a debate. It's a conversation. We'll see what happens. I don't know if Mikey Smith's going to be there or not. Sam was saying it might be too late for him. It's midnight for Mikey. It's 1 a.m. for me. Mikey doesn't work. I have a job. But, he has challenges, so whatever. Zoomicide says, I asked 100 women what their favorite shampoo was. The number one was, why are you in my house? Very good, Zoomicide. Sam said it was the Clash of the Titans. He did. So I don't know. I don't know what's in Sam's head or Mikey's head. Creaky has some things prepared. I know that. And I have lots of things prepared. I always have lots of things prepared. I'm always ready. Now, I was a Cub Scout. I did not ever make it to Boy Scouts. So the always be prepared thing that was a Boy Scout thing. I respect it, but it wasn't ever me. I was never actually a Boy Scout. But plenty of friends did. One of my good friends in high school, he got his Eagle Scout. I helped him put up some bird nests. Yeah, some bird nests in a wetland area. So anyway, what I did is I'd go to the Cub Scout meetings, and the other people would be getting like awards and patches and stuff. I'm like, why didn't I get something? Turns out there's like all these things you do in the book, and then you get patches and awards and stuff. I'm like, who knew? Not me. It was all of 1 year. So that's all he did. I love the Boy Scouts. They're great, but I just never was one. So Jack Vetter says, my guess in future historians will say it wasn't a conversation either. Could be about what's going to happen. Bruce Wayne says, is Penguin named after the bird or the villain? The bird. Most of our animals are named after other animals. We've got a dog named Donkey. We've got a cat named Turtle, cat named Frog, cat named Raccoon, cat named Gazelle. We have a pet possum named Narwhal. He stays outside. I went outside one time and a donkey, our dog that's all black. So I'm like outside. I'm like, Donkey, where are you at? I couldn't see him, right? Because it was dark, because it was night, because the sun set, because the earth is a globe. And I'm like, oh, he's over here. So I go over to where he's at, and right next to him is an opossum or possum. Possum or opossum, I forget, in the United States. Anyway, sitting there, mouth open, right? I'm like, oh, I wonder, is it dead or is it just playing possum? And I'm like, grab Donkey, because they got teeth, right? I grab Donkey, pull him inside, and I got to tell my wife, I'm like, there's a possum outside. I don't know if it's dead or not, but if it is dead, I'm going to go get a shovel and, move him. If it's not dead, well, then whatever. So I go back outside and it's gone. So turns out it's just plain possum. So, yep, it named is Narwhal. So that's that for right now. This live stream will automatically forward you to the next live stream, which is the big event. The Clash of the Titans, as Sam put it, which starts in just over 15 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to get ready. I hope you all are going to get ready. Remember, you got to change your underwear just so that you're ready, just in case. Just in case. So I hope you're all ready. I hope I'm ready. We'll see. We'll see if I'm ready. All right. And here's a question. Would you all be interested in watching a series of 2-hour videos of Nathan Oakley propositioning other men for gay sex? One in the chat if you'd be interested in watching that. Oh man, I know everybody's gonna say no. Oh, we got some ones in the chat. Oh my goodness. Anyway, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining, and be sure to stick around. So the Clash of the Titans video is what you're watching. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, YouTube, of course. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. That's good for the ladies to hear, right? They like that. When you swear. It's very attractive. Hey, ladies, if you want a real man, you might want to get somebody older. More mature. Huh? What are you doing, buddy? Hey, I got this on YouTube, pal.
Rolling down the highway, decals galore. Flat earth preacher, Mikey's out for more. With a bumper sticker sermon, scrolling neon lights. Spreading cosmic nonsense, picking verbal fights. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith, preaching flat earth, the cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? Stop in traffic, tension thick. Mikey mocked a stranger, thought he was slick. The guy stepped out, said he had enough, delivered a lesson, calling Mikey's bluff. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith, preaching flat earth, the cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? A punch flew swift, Mikey took the hit. Rubber chicken hunked, he lost his wit. You're going to jail, Mikey loudly cried, but the crowd just laughed, shook their heads and sighed. The moral of the story, keep it cool and clear. Flat Earth's got no business causing trouble here. So don't harass your neighbor, don't provoke a fight. Or a rubber chicken squawk might be your only right. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith, preaching flat earth, the cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? Yeah, Mikey Smith, with your theories and your squawk. Best keep rolling, less preaching, more walk. Keep that chicken silent, keep the peace intact. Flat earth funk, that's a cosmic fact. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now that all the sheep are out, let's go drive around and see how many people yell at me.